From the southern tip of Vancouver Island, across the Strait of Juan de Fuca, the Olympic Mountains draw you in. For us, it's time to answer their call. A short trip on the MV Coho takes us to Port Angeles, a city of 20,000. About an hour west along Highway 101, we stop at Altair Campground along the Elwha River.
Olympic National Forest has a dozen campgrounds and endless miles of hiking trails. At the Visitors Center, a park ranger gives us some good tips. We choose one of the closest trails to our campsite, about 5 miles down a dirt road to the Whiskey Bend trailhead. Early on the trail, we pass some other hikers who recommend a little detour down to Goblin's Gate. Two and a half miles in, we arrive at Michael's Cabin. It was built in 1906 and later occupied by a hunter known as Cougar Mike.
And across a clearing, Humes Ranch, which was established as a homestead years ago by Martin and Will Humes, who abandoned their pursuit of Klondike gold for a new start in the Elwha Valley. Our turnaround point is a bridge over the Elwha River. The next day, the ultimate tourist stop, Soldock Hot Springs, famous for its healing qualities. But sitting poolside, it feels more like Vegas. At the end of the Olympic Peninsula, where the Strait of Juan de Fuca empties into the Pacific Ocean, you'll find Cape Flattery, part of the Makah Nation. This is the most northwest corner of the United States. The land here is slowly retreating under the force of pounding waves. On the way back to Port Angeles, we take a scenic byway, the Strait of Juan de Fuca Highway. This road less traveled is like a trip back in time.
We decide to end our 4-day trip on a high note. A friend had told us about Hurricane Ridge. It's 17 miles directly south of Port Angeles, and it takes you to the top of the world.
Looking out across the Olympic Mountains, one can imagine First Nations, explorers, and settlers in the region seeing a similar view. At 5,200 feet, the view is simply stunning.